Jackson Chastain here with the latest edition of Weatherwise. Now we're approaching maybe the first day of winter coming up in a week or so. We're going to talk about snow a little bit, not because we're expecting any, although I kind of wish, but we're going to talk about the snow growth process because it's very fascinating, and if you can understand the snow growth process, you can actually understand how a lot of different types of winter precipitation forms. Now, really, and put simply, it all begins when you have something called an ice nuclei and you have water vapor in the air. That and the temperature has to be below freezing, of course. But if you have a dust particle, it can be a dust particle, it can be a piece of dirt, piece of sand, it could be a salt particle, it could really be just about anything that that water can freeze onto. You have that, and you have that extremely cold water molecule that freezes onto it. You now set the stage for some growth of that very, very, very small ice crystal to this point. And what happens is you get more of these of the same thing. You get these small ice particles that have basically frozen onto a piece of dust or whatever. They start to glom on together, and because basically the way an H2O molecule looks, you end up getting kind of this hexagonal pattern right here, and it just ends up growing bigger and bigger and bigger as you get more and more of these particles bonding together, and eventually you get something that kind of looks hexagonal in shape. It's like a big hexagonal ice crystal. It's not that large, but it's big enough that you could probably see it with the naked eye if you were to look at it. But it's basically all of these little particles that have frozen up together, and now you're well on your way to having a snowflake. Now, I will note this. There's different types of snowflakes. The one I'm talking about today is called a dendrite. You can actually get ones that are that look and stay just like this. They're called plates. There's some that are cylinders, cones, needles. You can get different shapes, but the most common one is the dendrite. And basically what happens when you get the dendrite is you get that hexagonal pattern, and as this snowflake is kind of falling through the sky, you're getting more water molecules that are coming in from different directions that are freezing on to this particle. And just based on the way things freeze and the way the water's freezing, it often forms a very, very pretty crystalline pattern when it's forming on this particle. And the dendrites are actually the little arms that you see forming on that hexagon. Now, that's all I have for the latest edition of Weatherwise this week. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to post those to our Facebook, our Twitter. You can send us an email, but otherwise, you guys have a great one.
Weatherwise is brought to you by Four County Electric Power Association.